We are live. As most of you know, I am going out of town this weekend and decided to go ahead and go live tonight instead of Saturday night. And pretty sure I've got all of the audio bugs fixed. I've tested it numerous times this week and think it's done. So Romaine Paul, hey, missed you the other night, buddy. How's the sound? How's the audio? I went back and listened to my live stream from last week. It's good, awesome, and I thought the sound was pretty good, but man, on my mixer it's showing that if I raise my voice too much, it like buries the equalizer. Like just talking at this normal tone right here, it's midway on the yellow. So what is up, Romaine Paul? Yeah, I missed you the other night. We had a few audio issues, so I ended up doing 3 separate live streams. I took the 2 first ones that I did down because they were terrible. It was just, it was aggravating. And then, you know, like 9:30 I went live and had a few people in there and things were good. So been a busy week in the fish room. Got a bunch of stuff shipped in, got a bunch of videos coming up. I've got 2 weeks of videos already uploaded onto YouTube. So this week's coming up, this next week got it full, and the next week full, and then this weekend I plan on making 2 new videos. So actually probably 3. Yeah, now that I think about it, 3, because I've got another shipment that's coming in tomorrow and I'll have to do an unboxing. So have an unboxing video coming up, and haven't talked to you much, Romaine Paul, but I'm assuming you're a subscriber. So what I was wondering is, every once in a great while I do like these update videos where I give you an update on a certain tank, and I was thinking about starting to do that like once a month. What are your thoughts on that? Should I just do them randomly from time to time, or should I do them once a month? Because anytime you run out of content, you can always fall back on a update video. Yo, Michael. Yo. I didn't see you on Bob's stream, so I was wondering if you would even show up. So you showed up to my stream, but you didn't show up to his. Awesome. Romaine Paul, you could do them randomly. Yeah, that's kind of how I've been doing them, and I was just wondering, there's some YouTubers that do monthly update videos, like LR Brett's right now. He's doing a TOT, this old tank, and like today's, you know, they're not very long videos, but I like them. Priorities. More like you probably worked late or something. I was going to ask you something, Mike, or Michael. I can't remember what it was, though. There was something that I was thinking of this week, and I was just like, oh, you had said something about the black shrimp. So yeah, I know I commented back to you, but what did you think about those black shrimp? It was pretty cool, I thought. I mean, they were awesome. LMAO, it's the wife's birthday. We were having dinner and she's laying the kids down. I can't stay long. Okay, well, thanks for stopping by. Hey, Flynn's Fish Forum, thanks for stopping in. Yeah. So, oh, I know what it was, Michael. What I was going to talk to you about. Yeah, you want them ASAP. Yeah, definitely. It'd probably take a while because I've actually had them in a tank growing to where they are now, and you know, they haven't really, if they did produce any shrimplets in the last tank that they were in, I don't know, because I never really saw them buried. So we'll see. I mean, it should only, for the, you know, it should only take a couple of months to really get them going. But Michael, I know what I was going to talk to you about. There is a guy, let me look here. There is a guy that you should go look at some of his older videos. If you guys hear a sound here in a second, I promise I will get it quietened down as soon as possible. Okay. His name is Adam something. You need to go check out his channel because he had some sturgeons and they were awesome. He ended up rehoming them finally, but whoa, I know. Okay, Adam Julian, Julyan, and his YouTube channel is mostly about koi. He has some amazing indoor fish rooms, and he had some sturgeons, and I don't even remember how many thousand gallons this one aquarium that he has in his house is, but he had either 1 or 2 sturgeons in there. And he doesn't make a lot of videos, but check out his sturgeons, and he had some info about how he keeps them healthy and what he feeds them and stuff like that. So that's what I was thinking of this week after you got that sturgeon last week, which is awesome. Romaine Paul asks, had any bad deaths in the fish room since the swordtail plague? To be honest with you, I have found that I went through a stage where my guppies weren't liking my water in one of my tanks, and I don't really know if my water wasn't hard enough, if my water was too soft. I think that's what it was, but I think I pretty much got it ironed out right now. But I mean, whenever you have as many tanks, you're welcome, Michael. Whenever you have as many tanks as I do and as many fish as I do, you're bound to lose them from time to time, and it always stinks. It really does. But nothing as big as what I had with the swordtails. You know, that was like the worst experience of my whole fish career, if you call it a career. Yeah, you're welcome, Michael. He has a pretty good channel. I mean, he doesn't upload very much. He's kind of hard to understand. I think he's English. I may be wrong, but yeah. So yeah, the fish deaths stink. You know, lots of times nowadays the way it is, especially with live bearers, it's usually like as soon as you lose one, you wake up the next morning and you have like 20 fry, so they keep on replacing theirself. Mile High Pleco says, if you get a prego guppy and let her give birth in a different tank, the fry will live in any water. Interesting. Huh. So I wonder why that is. So are you saying that the tank that I was having issues with the guppy, if I took a pregnant female out of that tank when she's pregnant and I put her in a different tank and she has the fry in this different tank, the fry can live in any water? I think that's how I'm understanding that. Interesting. I think basically it was my first tank that I'd ever done this way. It's one of those breeding for profit tanks. You've got shrimp, you've got plecos, you've got snails. I've got some Malaysian trumpet snails. What didn't I say? Shrimp, plecos, guppies, and snails. I've got all those in there. And the shrimp, every time I see them struggling, like if I see one every once in a while struggling to molt, I'll put like some crushed coral in there, and I don't know if that was doing something with the water that the guppies didn't like or what. Basically, I haven't had as many problems though since I started doing 50% water changes on that tank once a week. I think that could have been part of the problem. Maybe I was having some ammonia spikes or something. Another thing that I thought of is maybe trying to add an air stone or something to that tank. I haven't yet. I don't really have many adults in there right now. It's kind of turned into a grow out tank since the new fish room that I started, since I've started moving those out. If you guys don't know what the plans are for that new fish room, is to have some trio tanks of three different livebearers in there, and then have some bachelor tanks of the three different livebearers, and then use the big tanks that I used to use as my breeder tanks as the grow out tanks. So on the endlers, every time I catch some fry, I'll move them back into the 40-gallon breeder in my office, and they'll grow out a little bit until I figure out what's males, and once the males color up, I'll go put them in the bachelor tanks. And that's the same thing that I'll do in these platy and guppy tanks. Once I figure out, you know, I can sex the males, I will pull them out, which sometimes the platies are a little difficult. You can't really tell if it's a gonoplodium or a female, you know. Mile High Pleco says, I had some guppies in a tank and I couldn't keep any alive, but mom gave birth and the tank is out of control now. Yeah, and I had the same thing happen. It's about the time that I started upping my water changes. Females just started bursting all the time, and I've got like probably 4 different sets of fry in there now, and 1 female, and I've got the rest all pulled out, and you'll see those videos coming up. I started this week moving fish into the new fish room. It's been like a month, I was testing the water parameters and everything was testing really good, so I started moving fish into the fish room, that new fish room, this last week, and started making videos on those. But probably won't see any of those videos until not this coming week, the next week. I did a DIY video that's coming out Monday, and then Thursday's video is kind of a what I do in the fish room type of video. So it's kind of cool. The one that's coming up a week from today, so next Thursday, it's got a pretty cool, like during my beginning interview, I've got a pretty cool segment that's pretty cool. Mile High Plecos, what's the next project for you? Well, I am going to do summer tubs, and I'll be making some videos on those. I might I've got pretty much everything that I need to make the videos, and this weekend is really nice, and I might go ahead and get some set up this weekend and get some water in them and get a bunch of sponge filters in them and stuff, because I think we're above freezing and going to stay above freezing for a while. And you know, of course, it'll be a long time before I add any fish or plants to them or anything, but that's my next project. Like I said earlier in the stream, I've got, you know, by the end of this weekend I'll have 3 weeks worth of videos already made. So I am going to do some summer tubs. I'm excited about that too. I haven't ever done it before, and I've seen some real big success in it, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun, you know, for plants and for live bearers. So Mile High Pleco says Priscilla is going to do some tubbing too. Yeah, so is Priscilla your wife, or are you talking about Priscilla MK Art? I'm gonna do 2. I was gonna do 1, but I just changed my mind and decided to do 2. 2 are better than 1. Mile High Plecos, she's gonna try and breed some of my shrimp outdoors. That would be cool. I don't think I'm gonna test that this year. I did think of that though. What I really thought of is when you just made my wife laugh. Funny. what I thought I would do, since I'm too chicken to move my shrimp out there this summer, you know, what I thought about doing is maybe when summer's over and I break the tubs down, maybe I've got a spot in my dining room where I could put 2 tubs for sure. And I thought maybe I might, you know, depending on how crazy my shrimp population is getting, I might do a couple of shrimp tubs indoors over next winter. The only problem is it's right up next to a window, so heating, you know, and stuff. But that fish room, I plan on blocking it off and not having it cooled this summer because I don't have any heaters in any of those aquariums. So I plan on making that room really hot this summer. I've had it going for a month now, and I've been able to keep it at 70s, you know, keeping the water at low 70s, but that's without having the room blocked off too. Next winter I could have the room blocked off and have a couple of space heaters in there, do it that way. But yeah, I thought about the shrimp outdoors in the tubs. That would be cool. V-Stag says, hi all, welcome V-Stag, thanks for stopping in. It's nice to see some new faces over here. You know, it usually only takes like 1 or 2 people to make a stream, and that's really all that it takes for me. It's just chat it up. And when the streams are smaller like this, you get to talk more to individuals, you know. And thanks for stopping by though. How are things with you? I saw Flynn in here a little bit ago. If you're still here, how'd your week go, Flynn? And Romaine Paul, what have you had going in your fish room as of late? I know I didn't lose audio. I've got my mixer right up here on the screen, right in front of me. Mile High Plecos. You need to get into more plecos, in my opinion. And Romaine Paul, yes, what's been going on in your fish room? I've got a bunch of babies right now, if you saw that one video. So I'm working on my albino bristlenose right now because I've got a tank that has 3 large females, but I don't have any males, and I don't want to keep on going out and buying to try to get males. I've got a bunch of babies growing out that aren't related to any of my female albinos. So once they get to where I can see if they're males or not, I'm going to break off and get some trios out of them. They're my son's albino babies, and then I've got my super reds. I've got 2 and 2. I've got 2 males and 2 females. I do have another planned project coming up where I do have to do some work on the tank where my super reds are, though, because I don't think it's really set up for them to get into their caves. I think they like to have them hidden more than what they are in that tank. And I'm talking about my Breeding for Profit 55-gallon tank. So I thought about trying that this weekend, and I'd probably make a video about that because I haven't done anything with that haven't done anything with that tank since I set it up. And excuse me, I need to do something because they haven't even went into their caves. So I need to turn them, change them to where some of them are pointing different directions. I've heard that if they're not going into their caves, you can take them and turn them, hide them better, get them under some, you know, there's all kinds of things that I can do, but, you know, water flow, different directions, stuff like that. But I need to do that. And then I've got the common bristlenose plecos, the like Starry Night looking ones. They're really cool. I'm growing those out basically right now. So I've got 3 different types. I missed B-Stag. B-Stag said things are well here. ready for auction. So you have an auction coming up. Cool. There was a live bearing auction kind of in my area last weekend, but I'm not really buying right now. But I'd like to go to one. I've never been to one actually, so I think it'd be pretty cool. Romaine Paul says, had a sad death. My very first fancy male guppy that I got passed away. I think he got into a fight with some rather aggressive males, or he contracted worms. That is sad to hear. Hang in there. You know, keep an eye out on the other fish and see how they're doing. But Mile High Plecos, you should email me and I can show you how I set my tanks up. Well, if you look in my About section on my channel, my Hotmail email address is on there. Feel free to email me anytime. You know, I did have a guy this week that was reaching out on all of my videos, and one of them, he was saying, you need to get those shrimp out of there. You can't keep them in a tank with fish. It doesn't work. You'll lose all your shrimplets. And you know, I've had this 55-gallon going here for probably 5 or 6 months, and Lucas from LR Brett's Aquatics told me that, I was reading the chat and I got distracted. Lucas from LR Brett's Aquatics said he likes to put rock piles in all of his shrimp tanks, and it gives those shrimplets a place to hide, and that works great. And then I keep a bunch of guppy grass and moss and different things like that. I don't like, now that I've done it, I don't like to keep my shrimp in the same tank as, you know, I don't really care for the live or the breeding for profit tank. It is hard to catch the shrimp, and the biggest reason why I don't like to keep them in my breeding for profit is because I can't specialize feed them. So like if I put something in there that has like some minerals and stuff for them, and I want to feed them a specialized food, I can't, because my super reds come in there and just terrorize it, or the guppies come and pick at it. So that's one reason why I don't really care for it. But other than that, they do work in your breeding for profit tanks. You just have to have plenty of cover for the shrimplets. There was like a month period there where I thought that all of my females weren't you know, getting buried anymore, or I would see some of them that were buried, but then they would disappear, and I would think, man, they're just not having any shrimplets. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, I'd see 2 or 3 week old shrimplets coming out of the lava rock in the back of the tank. And that is the key, if you're going to have them in the same tank. You don't see my email anywhere. Let me make a note here real quick. This is a long note. I need to remind myself to do something. I make notes whenever I come up with a video idea, and all I was basically doing was making a note about making a video. Let me look here. So let me go back to my channel here. In my About section, it says, oh, for business inquiries. So if you go to my About section on my channel and go down below the description, it says details for business inquiries, and then it says show, and it's above my links that has my Instagram and my Snapchat and my Twitter and my Google Plus. Look there and see if you find it there. If not, I mean, I don't really care if people have my email address. I will just put it here in the chat. I don't care. There, you know my name now. Jeff Adams. There you go. I don't care if people have that email address. That's like one of my first email addresses and my oldest email address that I've ever had. So there for a long time, that one was crazy. But I've pretty much got it settled down now. And it's kind of weird, but I've had that email address, well, Jeff Adams 21. Yeah, I've had that email address a long time. There you go, Michael. Yeah, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to see how you do your shrimp tanks, you know, because I really fell in love with shrimp this year. I mean, really got the shrimp bug. And, you know, these black ones, this has been a lot of fun. And you know, my son has a lot to do with it too. Actually, and I've probably told this story before, I bought some, you know, high grade fire red cherry shrimp, and there was one in there that was just really dark. And I was like, instantly I thought, I knew, and I'm glad that I was smart enough to take it out, but I knew I needed to probably take it out. So I took it out, and I had like a handful of shrimp still in my son's tank in his bedroom that I just kind of left for him, because when I excuse me, when I started the shrimp, they were all in his tank, and then I'm telling him I'm going to go and start this other tank, and I'm taking them all, so he was kind of getting attached to them. So I left a handful of shrimp in there for him, and when this black one came in, I asked him if I could put it in there, because I didn't want to put it in with all my red ones. And that's what I did. And whenever I put it in there, it turned out to be a really cool shrimp, and I've got her in my 40-gallon breeder now, and she's actually, haven't seen her in a couple of days, but the other day when I saw her, the gold stripe on her back has gotten bigger and wider, and it's kind of growing down her sides. That was you, I bet. And I figured that. I heard that off to my side, and I'm like, I bet he's already emailed me. Kind of funny. Kind of funny. But anyhow, long story short, I continued to keep those black ones in there until my son kept on coming to me and saying, come in here and look at this black one, Dad. And finally, I talked him into allowing me to take them back out and get them by themselves. And most of the time, the males are like that clear tiger stripe looking, but they're cool too. I mean, some of the bigger males in his tank are just beautiful, and they're like a grayish clear with tiger stripes, and they're really cool too. And then this black tank, if you saw in the video, there was one that I got a really good clip of, that it's a big buried female that's that clear tiger stripe. So I know that Mile High Pleco says, well, sorry man, I gotta run. Have a good night. We'll talk soon. Thanks for stopping by, man. I really appreciate you coming on here, giving me something to talk about. And yeah, have a great night. Oh, where was I? But yeah, what I was talking about was this shrimp tank. It was on one of my videos this week. I think it was my Monday video. Kind of forgot now, but I introduced a new shrimp that I did a video on, and they're black, and then some of them are like a lighter tiger stripe, but I think people would buy either one. So I'll just keep on pulling out reds as they have them, because they're a cherry shrimp. They're just trying to breed back to their natural colors, and you know, natural colors can be a number of different things. Like my son's tank has some that are like a brick color, and that's a natural strain as well. Can you sing my wife happy birthday? Oh boy. Is it Priscilla? Tell me that, and I'll personalize it. I am getting sweaty palms right now. No. Back to what I was saying though. I was watching a video the other night, and it was something to do with these cherry shrimp Oh, her name is Kayla. Happy birthday, Kayla. At least I'll do that. Happy birthday, Kayla. You got a swell husband. Michael is an awesome guy. And what little time I've known him, I know that he is a great guy. So, happy birthday. Have a great night. Enjoy Michael. But anyhow, what I was doing is I came across this video, and this guy talked like he knew a lot, and he had a lot of good things to say, and I learned a lot from it. And I can't tell you right now what the name of the video was or the name of the channel or anything, but I found it interesting. He talked about how the wild strain, which that is what these black shrimp are, they're a cherry shrimp that are breeding back to their wild colors. So originally this black cherry shrimp was a red one, or no, actually, sorry, it was a black one. And in the tiger striped ones, they were tiger striped. But then there's also brick colored ones, and he does have some brick colored ones that look a mixture between like a Bloody Mary and a black one. It's just hard to explain. You look at them and they're dark, deep, like Bloody Mary black. It's weird, it's hard to say. But I would say people would buy all three of those. They're beautiful. I love them. The tiger striped ones, I mean, they look like a tiger. You know, they look like a Neocaridina tiger shrimp is what they look like. And then the black ones, gosh, these two that I put in this tank, one of them is lightened up a little bit, and I think it's because of the white sand substrate that I have them on. But you can see them better on the light substrate. So I planned on, you know, just keeping them in the light colored substrate. But you know, the one, it's kind of hard to even explain, but it's not as jet black, and I've had them in there almost 2 weeks. So yeah, you're the one that rocks. We'll see ya next week, Michael, Trevor, Trevino, Romaine Paul. It really is. Thank you. Yeah, it's never good to lose a fish in the fish room, but the more fish you have, that's one thing you have to prepare for. The more tanks you have and the more fish you have, you're going to have some downs. You're going to have some ups, and you have a lot more of ups, really, and that's what these chats are good about, is for us to talk about them. And you know, like if I was you, I would check my water parameters and keep an eye on the other fish. You know, make sure that you don't have any other dead ones down in the moss or whatever you've got down in there. And what kind of fish do you keep, Romaine Paul? Well, you said guppies. Do you keep any other kinds of fish? I think that's all you said that you keep. Do you keep shrimp? Guppies and platies. B-Stag said, I still haven't made the jump to shrimp yet, but hope to. All Flip Aquatics videos make me want them more and more. Yes, I really was looking forward. I actually had, if you've been watching this whole time, I actually had a note on this same notepad here. I wanted to do a Flip Aquatics unboxing video, and I had some shrimp that I wanted to get for this new fish room that I've got. And it seems like every time I go to buy shrimp from him, he's out. And then same way with Lucas from LR Brett's. So I thought, well, what I did is on Flip Aquatics website, it says if they're out of this, you know, type that you want, there's a place where you can mark it, where you'll get an email when they come back into stock. And I waited and I waited, and I just really wanted to move on these shrimp, and I ordered them. And like a couple or 3 days after I ordered them, I got the email that he got his in, and then his video came out like last week or something like that, where he was unboxing his big shipment that he got. He got a big import in with a bunch of shrimp, so I kind of missed out on it. And then Lucas, he always, I love him, by the way, and I'm not talking bad about either one of these guys. I would feel honored to get some of their shrimp and do a video on it, but excuse me, Lucas always lets his shrimp go to his Patreons first, and I haven't made the jump to do Patreon. You know, I really hate those things that draw money out every month. I just hate that. I mean, I try to support them every once in a while with the super chat here and there, and try to do it that way. And I guess a person could do a Patreon, you know, for a couple of bucks a month just to get in as a Patreon, and think of it like this: I paid $24 to get on the list for shrimp, but I pay super chats all the time too. So I kind of feel, and I'm not saying anything bad about him, I promise you, but the rule of having to be a Patreon to get on the list to get first dibs on the shrimp, I don't like that much. Plus, I wanted to get some of his tiger endlers, you know, and they're always sold out, or Patreons get the first choice. And the biggest reason why I hate that, and you know, he's a businessman, he has to do it the way he has to do it, you know, and he's cool too, but you know, there's been, and you know, I don't expect anything back whenever you do a super chat, but you know, I probably super chatted more than if I was like a Patreon, you know what I mean? So I feel like, you know, super chatters should be able to get in there too. You know, you should have a list of, hey, you know, I'm gonna mark that guy's name down, you know, Jeffroz FishKeeping super chatted tonight, I'm gonna put him below the Patreons or something. I don't care, you know, I mean, just be nice to be in there. So but I really do recommend V-Stag getting into shrimp. I got a little off track there. It's a lot of fun. They are fun. They're beautiful to watch. The babies are neat. They, you know, the Neocaridina is an easy species. You would pay 50 cents to be a patron to me. The Neocaridina is an easy species to keep. The water parameters can be just about anywhere. Temperatures can be just about anywhere. You know, check into it really good before you set up a tank, of course. But Romaine Paul says, I do keep shrimp. And then he says, do you think you would ever keep crystals? Well, that kind of goes back to what I just said about V-Stag. Make sure and check into it before you set up a tank. So what I've made my decision is, I love crystal shrimp. There are some really pretty ones out there. A lot of them are more beautiful than the Neocaridina. But the Neocaridina species are more for your beginners. And since I'm a beginner shrimp keeper, even though I've been keeping them now for probably around 6 months, that's still a beginner. I mean, a lot of us that have been in the hobby for a long time in fish keeping, we're all beginners. We're all still learning new ways to come up with things. But to get back to your question, I would love to keep crystals, but I'm going to wait until I really get good at keeping these Neocaridinas. And I have been. I've only lost a few in 6 months. But the crystals, you really have to watch the water. There's all kinds of different things. They're really wimpier as far as keeping them alive. You have to keep their water parameters perfect. So I'm gonna wait until I'm ready for it. You know, I don't want to kill off a bunch of shrimp. And you know, Mark from Mark's Shrimp Tanks, I can remember him saying something in one of his videos that he wouldn't sell shrimp to just about anybody if they were the Caridina, or he doesn't sell Caridina. And the reason why he doesn't is because he doesn't want to sell them and be worried that they would get killed off. And I believe that statement. And you know, I love the crystals, but the Caridina shrimp in general are really nice, and there's some really beautiful ones, but not ready at my level yet. I want to make for sure that I can give them a great home and get my, and I don't really know how to do that without testing it, you know. So I don't know. It's on my list of things to do in the future. Dave Giles, first off, welcome for coming by. I agree with the super chat versus Patreon. Yeah, and I guess a person just needs to break down and not super chat, but become a Patreon. And like Corey from Aquarium Co-op, he urges us to find 3 or 4 YouTube fish keepers out there and pledge $1 a month. And the only reason why I don't do that is because, like I said, I've got one bill right now out of all my bills that I've got set up on a monthly where they take it out. And every once in a while, you forget about that bill coming up, and you know, you're raising kids and, you know, not necessarily living from paycheck to paycheck by no means, but every once in a while it's like you cut yourself a little close because you forgot about that bill that's coming up. Now $1 a month isn't going to probably do that to me, but you know, $1 is, you know, I want to support him, I want to support him, I want to support them, and then before you know it, you got $20 on there that's coming out of your account every month. You know, I mean, that's why I would rather just, whenever I have it and I can help, do super chats, do a super chat here and there. And I feel like, you know, everybody has to have their own rules and stuff, but it's just hard for me to fathom that, you know, just because they're a Patreon and they're pledging that money versus someone that's, you know, kind of on their super chatting all the time is different. Dave Giles says, before you get into the crystals in the Tybes, get a RO unit and salty shrimp minerals and quality substrate. Truth. And you know, got to get all those testers. Gosh, you know, KH, you have to test all of those, and like total dissolved minerals. So you have to be able to test all of that kind of stuff. And it's hard to do that. I guess you could do the water without having the shrimp and then run it and, you know, get it going for a long time. And then after you've got it, you know, your parameters properly, because every shrimp that you buy nowadays, they say what pH and KH and all that kind of stuff has to be for that shrimp. They like this is what, you know, it says on their website, you know, and any good shrimp place will have that, and that's where you want to buy your shrimp from. And so I guess that would make sense. You could set up a tank and, you know, let it cycle for months and months and months. But yeah, thanks for the advice. I agree with that, actually. Romaine Paul says, you gotta just break down and super chat, man. LOL. V-Stag, I have been a Patreon, been anti-Patreon paying for access, paying muddies the waters to me. V-Stag, I keep Killies with RO. It is easy to remineralize. Cool. And you know, I've watched Mark from Mark's Shrimp Tanks for a long time now, and he goes above and beyond. A lot of times he'll say, you know, I don't know for sure if you have to do it this way, but this is the way I do it, guys. Okay. You know, I like his accent and stuff. And if you guys aren't subscribed to him, I suggest you go over and subscribe to him. He's great. He's like a master Caridina shrimp keeper. He keeps you know, a little bit of cherry Neo-Caridina, but most of his are all Caridina. And you can tell he's a good shrimp keeper because he has tons of babies in every one of his tanks, shrimplets everywhere, and he'll put down some bacteria starter before he puts down the substrate. And he doesn't do a lot of these fluval stratums and stuff like that, you know. His are mostly like a red clay type substrate, like I think some kind of substrate from Asia somewhere. But anyhow, then he, you know, uses RO water and he remineralizes it, and these different bacteriums that he uses, he puts them in at different stages. Like he'll do it like this day, that day, this day, that day, and then he does low water changes, like 10% weekly, you know. So V-Stag, Mark is A great channel, yeah. I've learned a lot from him. Yeah, he is great. I really like him too. I wish that he would show himself a little more on camera, but I do like the way he does his videos. I love the way that every time he starts his video, it's into that shrimp room, you know, and it's the from his perspective type thing. I love that. I just wish he would do some, and you know, I'm not saying that mine are any better, you know, mine are sort of geeky every once in a while, I feel like, but I'm getting to where I'm doing you can hear me popping my fingers here, but I'm getting to where I'm feeling really comfortable. I mean, I can pop out videos right and left now, and it's easy, it's not hard to do. I try to throw something in there a little exciting and new every once in a while, but I love his videos. I mean, like, I'm completely what's the word I'm trying to say, I'm entertained every time I watch one of his videos. So yeah, he's very smart too about the shrimp, you know, and he's very picky, and I like that. But I like his, you know, I love his subwasser tank. I got some of it just this last week, and I've started falling in love with it. I've actually got a couple of small little shipments in of it, and I'm going to start dabbling with the subwasser tank because I had watched his videos forever and couldn't figure out what it was. I was like, what kind of moss is that? I just love the way it looks and the way it grows. And finally I saw one of his videos where he was doing some kind of a feature with it, and I went ahead and ordered some, and I'm going to start playing with it. I love it. My Hypleco's still lurking, I see. His thumbnails crack me up. Yeah, seems like he went live either today or yesterday, and I haven't watched it. I hate watching live streams later, and he's in a different country, so it is what it is. If I'm ever going to catch one of his live streams, it's going to be on a day when I'm off work or something. Candy Overalls just stopping by to say hi, Jeff. Thanks a lot, Candy. I appreciate it. It's been a pretty strong live stream. We've had non-stop chatter going on, so I appreciate you stopping by. But Mark's thumbnail for the one today was bizarre, to say the least. I liked it though. I mean, it's fun. He's fun. He's funny too. I like his goofy voice that he does. And then not this live stream, but the one before, he had like some kind of girl standing there dancing to background music the whole time, and it was a kick, you know. It's kind of funny. But yeah, his thumbnails crack me up too. And he works really hard at it, you know, and he does some of the summer tubbing as well with his shrimp. He's got a little excuse me, he's got a little greenhouse outside that he messes around with in the summertime, and he gardens and different things like that. And that's another thing that I like about him. V-Stag, that's exactly what I was going to say. I love all the natural homemade foods that he makes. Like, I watched one with duckweed, and I made some, and I've still got it right here. I did add some mineralization stuff to it, but, you know, I've got a dehydrator. I did try, and I can't remember, V-Stag, if it was you that was telling me about the spinach for the endlers or not. If that was you, I tried some spinach leaves this week in boiling water like he does. Now, his spinach leaves come straight out of the garden, so I don't know if they've got as much oxygen. But this last week, I boiled up some water and dropped a few leaves of spinach down in it to try to see if I could feed to my shrimp, because my new black shrimp, they're not eating the best in the world, but yeah, they kept on floating. But somebody on one of my Endler videos that I had made, I'll probably have to go back to one of those videos, someone was telling me that they feed their Endlers blanched spinach, and I never did find out how they were preparing it. I mean, they were saying blanched, but I don't know if it was leaves or if it was spinach out of the can or what. But I love, like you said, back to your comment, V-Stag, I love how he's feeding them all these different things. Like, I can't wait till the zucchini starts showing up in the grocery store, because I've never fed any of my plecos zucchini, so I'm looking forward to doing that this year. Dave Giles. Mark's last live stream, the volume was too low. Yeah, I've had those too. It happens to the best of us. I've got my audio pretty much figured out right now, and I know that I'm having to watch my mixer here because if I talk too loud, it looks like it's blaring. So hopefully when I go back and watch this, it's not too loud. But I didn't watch his. I can't remember if it was today or yesterday. I really can't. I haven't been on YouTube very much today. Dave Giles, that was me with the spinach in your endlers, LOL. So I can't remember if you heard what I just got done saying. I put like a few spinach leaves in a little bit of boiling water, and they continued to float. I never could get them to sink, so I just ended up not feeding them to my shrimp because all they would do is just stay on the top. On your endlers, how do you prepare your spinach? Do you get them out of the can, or do you do spinach leaves? Because I want to try that this week. I love to feed my shrimp different foods because it helps. You know, they get all the, like Mark says, what does he say? Vitamins, minerals and vitamins. Dave Giles says B. That was me with the spinach in your endlers, LOL, and then B. Okay, I don't know what B means. Oh, B. So, I can't remember which one you said first or second. Yeah, if I can figure that out, I'll do that. And then, like I said, right now, pretty much the only vegetable that I feed any of my shrimp or anything is like once a week I feed green beans, and tonight is green bean night. My new fish room, I did feed them a couple of times today, but my main fish room in my office, I have not fed them today. Fed them yesterday, but I have not fed them today. So tonight after the live stream, I will do the green beans. The baby spinach leaves in the bag. Blanch for 3 minutes, then squeeze all the water out with your fingers, and it will sink. Great, great, great. Thank you very much, Dave. I appreciate that, because all I was doing was grabbing them with my big long tweezers and shaking, and you could see oxygen bubbles come out of them, but I didn't think about squeezing all the water out of them, you know, because I'm sure that water has oxygen in them too. But thank you, I appreciate that. That helps a lot, because I was thinking, do I go and buy a bunch of spinach in the can and then dehydrate it? What do I do here, you know? Because he doesn't show that step of squeezing. Well, yes, he does. Now that I think about it, he blanches them, and then he pours them through that little metal strainer, which I have one of those, and then he takes a paper towel on them and he squeezes them in that thing. Fishman, welcome. Fishman says evening all. Well, evening, Fishman. That is right. That's the step that I forgot to take. He puts them in that like metal colander strainer, whatever you want to call it, and then he squeezes them with the paper towel. But I remember he was being delicate with them. That's what I was thinking of whenever I was boiling them or blanching them or whatever. I was remembering back to one of the last videos that I had watched with him, and he was being delicate with them because he didn't want to break the leaves up. So that's why I was kind of being delicate. But I mean, you can mash them in a paper towel without tearing them up really good. How's it going, Fishman? Welcome to tonight's live stream. We have been live now I went live after Bob Steen fought. I'm usually live on Saturday nights. I upload videos on Mondays and Thursdays every week, and have now for about 2 months, and I'm going to stay on that schedule. But got plans to go out of town this weekend, out of state actually, and instead of bringing the live stream equipment with me and trying to get good internet down at my family and down south, I thought I would just go live tonight, and I've enjoyed it. I'm glad I did. It's been a good live stream, and I'm glad I did. You know, it's kind of hard. The reason why I picked Saturday nights is because there's a lot of preparation that goes into this. There's a lot of things you have to do to get it going. It's getting easier now, so like tonight I just sat there and watched Bob's live stream and listened to it while I got prepared, got everything set up, and I have to take everything down afterwards too. So I like to do it on Saturday nights because I have more time to prepare. During the week, it's a lot to put up and a lot to take down after a long day's work, which I drove probably 7 hours today. So, Fishman, that's quite the mic you have. Yep, I purchased this thing probably about a year ago right now. And the reason why I purchased it, because at that time my channel was a little bit different and I was doing these videos once a week called Did You See It? I was looking up like viral videos online and stuff like that, and I was playing the videos on screen, and then I had a little block of me down at the bottom, and I used this mic for my audio. So whenever I decided to start going live stream, or when I decided to go ahead and start live streaming on my channel here, that was one purchase I didn't have to make. And I can't remember what model it is, but it's a Rode mic, and it is really nice. It's a studio mic. It's pretty nice. I mean, it was kind of expensive, and I did at that same time I purchased a USB what do you call it, like monitor, and my mic plugs into it and it powers the sound and everything, and then it goes into my computer, so you can do it all through the computer. So yeah, I got it about a year ago. It was for a different reason, but I'm glad that I had it because the camera, the mics on these cameras, these little live stream cameras, they're not the best in the world. The sound on them isn't as great. So Dave Giles, if you ball it up and squeeze the excess water out to make it sink, it will break the outer skin up on the leaves and make it easier for guppies to eat it. Okay, cool. Thanks for the advice there. Fishman says roads are great. Yeah, what I did whenever I started searching for a mic, I called up my uncle down in southern Missouri. He was a radio DJ for, gosh, over 30 years. He's retired now. But I asked him, I said, you know, here's what I want to do. I want it to hook into my computer. What do I get? And he told me what model of mic to look up, and I looked that up, and they actually had a new model that was the upgraded version of that. And then I got a Scarlett 2, I believe it is, you know, monitor, and it's enough to do 2 mics. So if I ever get really good at this and I, you know, get somebody that's local that wants to go on live with me, I could always plug another mic in. So later on down the road, I could do up to 2 mics on this setup here. It's an expensive setup. It was a lot more than what I needed at the time, and it's actually more than what I need right now, but I'm glad that I have it because I can have quality audio. But I didn't have to buy it now to start live streaming. I've only been live streaming for about 4 weeks now. So, but I do love it. We are at the 1 hour mark. Just want to remind you guys to like this live stream. Thanks for coming along for this live stream. If you guys, I just, before you go, hear me out here for a second. The biggest reason why I started live streaming is because the new partnership. I was before having all of my videos monetized, and they changed it to where you have to have 1,000 subscribers, you have to have 4,000 hours of watch time on your channel in a year. The 4,000 watch hours on the channel in a year is easy to hit. The 1,000 subscribers, you have to work a lot harder at that, and I've got a long ways to go. I think I'm up to like 365 subscribers now, which is, I'm growing tremendously, and this live streaming has been helping with that. And what it's been helping is it's showing that there's more attention on my channel. These comments that you guys have, there are more comments than I have on any of my videos. Every once in a while I get a video, like I brought up, Dave had commented on one of my Endler videos about the spinach. You know, every once in a while I get a comment like that, which I appreciate those, because that shows YouTube that people are looking at my channel. People are interested in my quality or my videos, you know. And these where we sit here for an hour and we chat about our fish room and stuff, which I enjoy, and I love that you guys are coming on here. I appreciate it, and I urge you to come back every week and we can sit down and do this. But this is going to help me grow my channel, and that's what I want to do. I've got a goal right now of 1,000 subscribers. That's not a very big goal for some people, but that's what my goal is, and I was wanting to have it hit by last year, but I didn't work hard enough, and I'm working harder at it now. I'm really into this, and I really appreciate you guys coming, and thanks for hearing me out. And remember to check back on Mondays and Thursdays for my new uploads every week. And I will not be going live this Saturday night, but the following Saturday night I'll be going live, and I'm trying to schedule these two to where you guys can get some notifications. And I didn't ever ask you guys, did you guys get any notifications for tonight's stream? I was wondering about that, because I scheduled it like maybe yesterday or the day before, and I was wondering about that. Thanks for the great stream. Hashtag FishFam. It won't take you long. Thanks, Fishman. Candy Overhaul says, I hope you reach all your goals. Good night. Thank you, everyone, for coming for tonight's stream. Thank you, everyone, for all your support. And we will see you next Saturday night at 8 p.m. for another live stream. And have a good night. Peace out, y'all.